Welcome. Welcome back to Stemming the Gap, where we attempt to bridge the gap between the majority and the minority through STEM fields. And, I think there's a kind of an awkwardness to me starting this intro again. As you can see, we haven't posted for about 2 months. As you may know, we are students. Right now, we're high school juniors, class 2027.
Yep.
And our summer has been booked to the max, I assume.
It's been quite busy.
Yeah, and it's just like this podcast, right? We want to give these content for you guys to watch, and all that stuff. But I just feel like in some way, some shape or form, there's something else holding us back. Whether it was, time management, or we had things going on and stuff like that. It was just difficult for us to really plan a day, especially if Gavin wasn't home, and when Gavin was home, I wasn't home.
Right.
It was just really difficult to plan, and that's kind of what was really the drawback for this little break. We do kind of apologize for that. If you want to add on?
Yeah. We've just, it's been a busy summer. We've been we just kind of decided to take a break for it. We didn't want to, put together something rushed and not have it be good content for you guys. But we're back for the school year. We're probably gonna do how many, 1 or 2 episodes?
Yeah,
one episode a week, or one episode every other week. We'll
back to the schedule.
You guys go back to the schedule. It's probably gonna be. Are we gonna drop maybe today or on a Friday?
Oh yeah.
We'll get a consistent posting schedule though. We'll get back into all of that. You guys know life happens.
Yeah.
Things got in the way in regards to that. So
yeah, and I just feel like also one thing that we kind of noticed, in our content as well, is that I feel like regardless of how many viewers we get, right, we want, entertaining, and we want, informational stuff for you guys. However, I just feel like, in my opinion, I talked with Gavin, earlier, that our content is a lot focused on, giving this kind of presentation of oh, this person did this, blah, blah, blah. It's just an example of STEM or whatever. And it just didn't really feel sincere enough to you guys. Because at the end of the day, what this podcast is for you guys.
For the youth.
For the youth. For those, adolescents trying to get into STEM and are very discouraged based on, the color of their skin, or many, diversions that may happen within their identity and stuff that is, preventing them or limiting them to get into STEM. We're trying to break that barrier, essentially, right? The title of this intro, the intro that I just did is, breaking that gap between majority and minority.
There you go.
Yeah.
For today, on that note, what today's episode is going to be is
just more laid back.
Yeah, casual conversation with each other. Just kind
episode 1.
Yeah, about STEM, what's been going on.
Yeah.
A little bit about, I know I've learned a lot about STEM, specifically minorities in STEM over the summer. I'm going to talk a little bit about that more, but I kind of want us to, have a little bit of a casual conversation, entertaining for you guys. You guys kind of get to, learn more while also still being entertained. So,
and I feel like just learn more about us and people in general, right? Because at the end of the day, we're just on the screen. You can't really meet us in person. And it's hard to see where really our intentions are, with this podcast and with ourselves. So, tell me just a little more. What did you do, man? It's been 2 months,
It's been 2 months.
Tell me what you learned.
Yeah.
Your experiences. And how did you feel during those experiences?
Yeah, so I think mainly, over the summer, guys, I did an internship with a biofoundry. They do a lot of stuff with DNA, plasmids, called Way Bio Solutions.
Pause.
What?
Okay. Don't say guys. Make it talk to me. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
That's why. Did you see me? That, kind of. Oh, tell me about your summer. Blah blah blah. That was the cut between being third person to now second person.
Right.
So
I got you.
Let's go.
All right, and so, Bob.
What you said.
Yeah.
Say internship.
Yeah. So yeah, this summer did a lot. I had in June I had an internship at a biofoundry called Way Bio, and it was obviously a really good time. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the lab, but I was doing a lot of the data migration stuff, so I was handling the data, looking at that. And so obviously I got to learn a lot about STEM. Really good experience. You know, if at any point, you know, I know you did a lot of you've done internships as well, different camps. It's just really good exposure, you know what I mean, like to a lot of stuff. So I'm really glad I did it. One of the things I did notice though that I thought was interesting was they have a sister company called Arbor.
Oh shoot!
Basically, and what it is Way Bio and Arbor had like a happy hour kind of thing where they were all together.
Happy hour.
And yeah, seriously, it was like because like I don't know how to describe it. Way Bio
were there
was
like other 16-year-olds with you?
No, it's
just you?
me. Everybody else is like 40s and 50s.
You're like only 16-year-old at happy hour. Are we serious, bro?
And I was 15 then too. So like there it wasn't like there were like drinks or anything, but it was like just kind of like a talking thing. Way Bio.
Happy birthday, by the way. It's kind of belated.
Thank you, sir.
However, you know I still got to throw it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I turned 16 couple weeks ago, but right like. During that camp, I was 15. That's why I couldn't work in the lab. I had to be 16. But what I did learn from that was Arbor's a much bigger company than Way Bio. And this is not a diss to like
of course.
either of them, but like I could see like one other black person in the crowd. It was like 50 people at the happy hour. Everybody else was just white, and then a couple of Asian guys.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like majority of that, especially in like very dominated STEM fields, like I feel like that's majority of it.
Yeah.
For me, like I feel like I've done like I did a little bit. Honestly, for me, in my summer, I didn't do as much as you.
Yeah.
You know, Mr. BU, summer program and internship, all that stuff. But I would say, I did have a productive summer. I just did a lot of mostly like SAT prep. And just stuff for, coming up for college and stuff. But that's about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did like a kind of a deep research about like, just various like committees and stuff regarding STEM. And I just felt like, I think we did talk about this at one point. In that kind of sense of, that ratio is definitely off.
Yeah, it's wild. And I mean, like, obviously I knew that, like I saw the statistics.
Yeah.
But for me to like take it all in, and not in the sense where like this is like a negative and I just can't like bear it. No, for me it's actually encouraging because I get to think, I'm one of the only ones in the space, and I get to be a trailblazer with that. Be the one that's different, not follow the trend, right?
Okay, yeah.
But it's just shocking, man, to like see it right in front of your eyes. Same thing happened at Boston University. I was at a summer program at BU for biochemistry and business. Probably because there are other programs as well that like were with that. 1,000 kids probably on campus. I saw like 10 black kids. It was ridiculous. Everybody there is white. And again, not a diss or anything.
Did you like pay for that program?
Yeah, paid for the program.
Well, I feel like most that's like also says something.
Yeah.
Like income wise and financially,
exactly.
Right? Those who are able with resources, right? I think not only is kind of race is like a major flaw or like a major setback for people, also financially too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I notice like I'm not saying all rich white kids go to this.
Right.
Black people under the poverty line are making that decision.
Yeah.
However, you know what I mean? It's kind of, you can see a trend, right? And that's kind of what I'm noticing when I'm hearing you speak.
Yeah, definitely. There is definitely that gap. I think there's also the fact of the matter where obviously, there is some lack of exposure to a lot of the black community and STEM and all that. But those who do get exposed, there's a lot of talent. The only issue is they can't afford it. I read a study, and it was like there are just so many people who don't have the money to go to college, don't have the money to go. I was fortunate enough that I was able to go to this program, that my parents were able to support me in pursuing this goal that I have in mind to pursue biochemistry, pursue STEM, but other people don't have that privilege, right? And it's just really sad to see all that talent go unwasted. I was reading a book. This is part of our summer reading for the English assignment.
What book did you pick? Did you pick the
I picked Miseducated.
Oh, Miseducated. Okay. Wait, Brandon Fleming, right?
Brandon Fleming, yeah. And I'm not gonna like give a whole rundown of the story, but is this guy? He came out of like really rough situation, drugs. He took his own life, that sort of thing. Yeah, and he reinvented himself as an academic.
Wow.
And part of his goal was to change teaching, revolutionize teaching.
Yeah.
Part of what he did was he took black kids from Atlanta who were like overperforming in their schools. They just didn't have enough money. He was able to train them, get them good at debate because they had so much talent.
Wow.
And he got enough money to be able to send them to Harvard, to be able to see them flourish, right? And I mean, that was
isn't like Harvard doing the like if you're that's actually like what I liked about Harvard, like what they were doing to people with like who are not financially stable,
right?
Like if like in like a household makes less than $50,000, you get it for like education for free.
I think it's more than 50. It's like
it was 75 or something.
Something like
that.
We
went on that tour, right?
We went on a tour, yeah. When was it? Last year?
Yeah,
last year, something like that. And yeah, I remember they saw free tuition and all that for those people, but some of it also, in the build up to that, you have black kids with so much talent, and maybe they just don't think it's possible because of the stigma that's around them, the things that they see. And I was truly inspired by that guy giving these kids with so much talent a chance, showing them, because every like across the races, there's obviously equal amounts of talent. It's just how much of it gets to be put forward and shown, and the majority of that is white men. And they're the ones that get to go to the summer camps, that get to go to Harvards, right? And then end up in these STEM jobs. I've seen like all the stages in my own life at such a young age, and it really is a calling. Yeah, definitely.
I got nothing to say.
You got nothing to say.
I mean, I feel like there's nothing like that for me to really genuinely like say back or kind of argue in a sense.
You got give me something. You're talking, man.
Like you were just yapping. I was like, okay, yo. Well, all right, okay, all right. Recap what you just said.
So I was just talking about how, there's, you can see it all the different levels because of the opportunity, the money, all these different.
I remember what I was gonna say. I was kind of like
restart.
I was gonna argue what kind of the Robert Fleming what he did and such.
Okay, yeah, go. All
right, 3. I talk about Robert Fleming just a little bit more.
Okay.
So just be like, I read this book.
Yeah, Brandon Fleming, man, he was really inspirational to read about. Really enjoyed reading that book for sure.
I feel like kind of what you were saying about like the whole thing about bringing overqualified kids and kids from Atlanta. I feel like it's kind of in a sense like a downside to it. Well, I feel like obviously those kids who deserved it, right? Like because they're such high achievers in school, right? I feel like. Do you know who Neil deGrasse Tyson is? Obviously, right?
Yeah.
He did an interview with this guy. I was watching it over the summer about how, kids who exceed, right, don't tend to fall into the jobs that they really want to. Or like, okay, you know what I was talking about? Bro, I'm sounding like the F students. Those are the inventors.
No.
No, Neil deGrasse Tyson. He made like an interview, or like he had an interview with somebody saying that like it's hard to show something on paper. All right, now it makes me look like I'm failing every class.
What do you mean,
bro?
No, we're keeping this. No, we're keeping this in. This is authentic.
I mean, yeah, sure. But like, he said something in an interview that kind of interests me. It was like, resilience and brightfulness is not shown on a grade paper, is what he said. Because he himself was failing school.
That's true. I mean, yeah, you hear all these stories about all these guys, billionaires who were failing.
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg, all these guys
dropped
out of school.
People say, he was a dropout, blah, blah, blah. But he dropped out from Harvard. You gotta think about that. And he is...
That's true.
He was a... kind of a privileged guy, I will admit.
Yeah, and he was. I mean, you're smart enough to do that. I mean,
of course.
Look at him now, billionaire and all that, right? Like,
what? What?
Nothing.
What, dude?
Nothing.
What?
It's nothing. It's just dead silence.
Yeah, bro.
You ain't got nothing to
Yeah.
say. Oh my gosh. You ain't got nothing.
Hey, man.
You got nothing?
What do you want me to say?
I don't know, bro.
That's
Talk
a
about
girl.
like some inspirational quote or something.
Shout out MLK, bro. I had a dream. Wait, how much time we have? I feel like, on that note, honestly, in my opinion, I do feel, in a sense.
Yeah, and on that note, like, I remember, I think it was last weekend, I had. Why is your face like that?
What? What? Am I not sure? Like that. I'm so tired.
All right, I got it.
I have to do homework after this too. We have to do homework. What's the reading for you?
What do you mean?
Like for a push, what are you doing?
It's like 20 pages.
Well, I only have to do 5.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, he gave us pages 5 through 25 about Native Americans.
I'm doing 22-5.
What?
Cooked.
All right,
What'd you guys do in class today?
He just talked.
Boring.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
All right. Okay, so what was I talking about like before?
Oh, teachers, workforce, blah blah blah.
No.
Before
You were
that.
talking about that. You said
Shut up, bro. It was something about STEM. Oh yeah, obviously.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to say in addition then. Okay. Yeah, and in addition to that, something I also just remembered, and something I'm really happy to see actually, is kind of a good resurgence of like, seeing Black, excellence and, being strong financially in certain communities. So I remember my aunt, she visited last week. Shout out Auntie Maya if you're watching this. Last weekend she came over to the house, and we were talking about the schools and all that, and something that she was really happy about, we were talking about this exact thing, different race disparities, and she was saying, I've seen a lot of Black families pulling up in BMWs and all this. She works at a school, to schools, and obviously you still have the white families not coming but you have there, it's not like they're kind of breaking the stigma in a sense where they're working jobs, high level STEM jobs. A lot of them are.
Amen. Black excellence.
Yeah, and a lot and what she said is she's really happy about is seeing those Black students saying, I want to be like my father, right? You can see when they have the right role models and the right things in place, they can go into those excuse me.
Yeah, sorry.
They can go into those fields and go far. Like me, for example, I have a great example of my dad. He's an architect. He's a business owner. I have a great role model to see. I have a great path setter in front of me so that I can, kind of see where to go and see how.
I mean, that doesn't really mean. Oh, yeah, I understand. It's good to have a great base. However, I don't think that you need. I love what you're trying to say, right? It's really like essential to have a key role model that plays a really big part in your life and motivates you to do these such things. However, I don't think that like family wise that has to be a main cause for their outlook and stuff like STEM. You know what I mean?
It doesn't. It definitely doesn't.
And I feel like there's various things that you could do. I talked about this before. Idea camps, these various summer programs that are free. You know what I mean? There's various opportunities in life. You just have to go looking for it.
Right.
And to kind of, obviously you need your turning point. You need your kind of, what's that word? Like a
revolution.
Yeah, or like
renaissance in
you need your, not rebirth, but like you're just like what got you into it, I guess, right? You need that kind of, I just bring.
No, continue. Why'd you stop?
You need that kind of, that's like that turning point in your life or like break where like, oh, I know what I want to do. This is interesting to me.
Right.
Let me go find stuff that suits this interest, that scratches that itch that you created. And
I like that.
Yeah.
That scratches that itch that you created.
It's fire, right? And it's not just programs for introduction to STEM. there's various levels and stuff, but you don't really necessarily need that parent role model, but it definitely, I agree, helps.
Yeah.
And those who are fortunately enough to those who are fortunate enough to get those role models who are their parents are very, very lucky.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But you kind of gotta look at both sides of the table. Those who are both financially stable and both who not financially stable, right? Those families who are trying to make a living for their kids, are just trying to make it by and aren't really necessarily setting the best role model, best example. Like, obviously, you want to be a good parent.
Right.
However, it is quite difficult to look at, your parent as a role model if they've, lived in that kind of circumstance. You feel me?
Yeah.
And that's not to say their circumstances aren't hard. I don't know what they're living through, right? Because I'm not a parent myself.
Right.
However, there are alternatives out there.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have that role model in your life.
Yeah.
However, like looking up to, celebrities who have made it out, and have, accomplished that success that's a good example.
Yeah. A lot of, like I was saying, a lot of people don't have it and they make it through. Like the guy I was reading, Brandon Fleming, he grew up fatherless, single mother home, and honestly that's the sad reality of a lot of black families. They have a parent leave and they grow up with single parents, particularly a lot of fathers leave, and the home is unstable. They grow up very unstable, having one parent can't really manage it, and so they kind of fall into drugs and those sort of things. But obviously you hear a lot of success stories of people who that motivated, right? I want to do this for my mom, right? Have you seen Kevin Durant's MVP
for sure.
speech?
Right? Everybody knows that speech.
You're the real MVP.
For sure.
Right? Exactly. People can make role models out of what they have, right?
Yeah.
And like I'm, for example, fortunate enough to have both parents who love me, who care about me, who I can have as role models. Sure. But obviously there are people who don't have that disadvantage. And I think a real power is making role models out of what you still don't have as well. Because it's so important to have something.
And I do think that's very essential, right?
Yeah.
I feel like stuff like this and our podcast and these collaborations, these various collaborations that people are having, right? I think that's very important because I think one major trend in STEM is like loss for teachers for these schools, and I think teachers is a big role model for me. In my opinion, I had, all right, let me continue what I was gonna say, but I have something to add on. But it's a major need for the workforce, and I feel like with STEM, how AI is kind of taking over STEM's jobs, making it very difficult to like continue, further expanding. Especially for minorities to break through. It's already a white dominated field, and it's making it AI is making it even harder to just break through and make it more, kind of bridging that gap in a sense. But I won't forget, he's not even a STEM teacher himself, and he's a white male, and this is kind of contrary to his but he married a black woman. I forgot her name, but it's my history teacher, Mr. Wookie, in 8th grade. Wookie.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Mr. Z, and he said he married a black woman. I was a little confused.
Oh nah. Mr. Wookie, his dad was friends with Lucas, like from Lucasfilms, or like the director of Star Wars.
Really?
No.
George Lucas.
George Lucas, yes.
Really?
Yeah, and that's why it's called a Wookie.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait.
Because of my teacher's dad's last name, which was Wookie.
That's crazy. Wow.
Anyways, however, Mr. Wookie, I feel like he knew like a lot of the stuff. Even if he was a history teacher, he knew a lot more than for a history teacher.
Yeah.
And he kind of just gave me this outlook. I remember how I had a talk with him. He was like, Winston, whatever you want to do in life, I'll be here. And he kind of just gave me that support and I needed. I talked to him whenever I had a problem or anything like that. Whenever I was struggling in school, he'd always check up on me. Like he gave that sense of care.
Yeah.
That kind of like really like wow. I was like, damn, wow. I remember I had this conversation with him, kind of sparked something in me, and it was kind of almost like at the time I remember him talking about like kind of this motivational speech. You know that motivational speech you watch in A Push, and Psych.
Yeah,
I feel like it kind of was similar to that. You know, it was with that whole chase your dream or whatever.
Right.
But like and he told me that something that I'll never forget, and that when he was my age, he knew what he wanted to do, but something that was setting him back was like exposure, and like he didn't know how to approach it. He didn't know like, oh, how do I do this until college?
Yeah.
And he knew the only way he knew how was through like, the various majors and stuff. He took the normal classes like history, blah blah blah, and math and such until he knew he wanted to be a history teacher. And it took him like what? For him to be a history teacher, it took him like 30 to 35 years until he really knew what he wanted to do, which was be a history teacher, right? Yeah. And it shocked me. It kind of, what if you got into that field earlier? Could he have been like a historian? Yeah. Something a lot better than just a history teacher. Yeah. Because I feel like, in my opinion, Mr. Wookie's such an intellectual guy that I feel like, if you gave him more time than he had, he'd excel a lot more.
There's a lot of untapped potential.
Yeah, untapped potential.
Like we were talking about.
Yeah. I feel Mr. Wookie is one of the smartest guys I know.
Wow.
And he knew so much. Like, I remember one day he talked about, I had an apple and I ate it. I was like, why is this sour? He's like, oh, it's like the enzymes and shit. Oh,
no expletives, Winston.
I remember I had an apple and I ate it and I was like, Mr. Wookie, why is it sour? And it's like all the enzymes and stuff, and I was like, oh, how do you know this? He's like, well, naturally I'm a smart guy. And that's what he said. That's what he said. Naturally I'm a smart guy. So I mean that's a little arrogant if I don't say so myself. But I do feel like he had the potential that, to grow and be who he wanted to be.
Yeah.
Because he had a love for history, and I feel like that should taken a lot further. And that kind of just also goes to show, like, you shouldn't limit yourself, right?
Yeah.
I think limiting yourself is the biggest flaw that anybody should have. Like, limiting yourself, having, like, kind of a, fixed mindset of yourself. Yeah. Saying, like, oh, I cannot do this.
I can only do this,
blah, 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 right?
Right.
It's going to leave you at such a base or, like, a ground.
Right.
It's not going to move you forward. And I feel like the only way to grow is to be uncomfortable. So
yeah, exactly. Being comfortable, stepping outside your comfort zone. That's what we were saying, have a growth mindset, don't have that, be stuck in one place. Yeah. That's what we've kind of reiterated in our podcast, go to those camps,
time. I feel like
exposure to
regardless if it's really for like that majority and minority, because I do think that's our main focus on this podcast. However, it's kind of like mixed with both. I do want to really emphasize the idea of having youth into the, having youth into that STEM field, or regardless, or what they want to do in general. Because I feel like, yes, there's a declining workforce.
Teacher shortages.
Teacher shortage. Yes, there's a declining workforce, blah, blah, blah. That shouldn't. Okay. Yes, there's a declining workforce. Yes, there's not a lot of teachers to, bloom that. But you shouldn't, despite that, you shouldn't just stunt your potential.
Exactly.
And just go back to something. That's kind of something that I really want to emphasize with this podcast. I feel like, obviously, the main idea of this is to bridge that gap, right?
Right.
It's called stemming the gap, as you may know.
Yep.
But I do want to create a little more emphasis on getting those youth involved, regardless if it's at STEM or not, right? It's just more about untapped potential and things like that nature, that if you just limit yourself, how far can you actually grow?
Right. Exactly.
A lot of people kind of want to get by and do these little jobs and do anything to get that. Don't really want to work for it in a sense. Yeah. But it's kind of, if you do that, you're just limiting yourself to much more, and who knows what you could be. I feel like everybody has a gift. You have to find it. There has to be some breaking point, some point in your life where you really find it.
Definitely. That's a great message. Well, It was a good conversation. Enjoyed talking with you.
Of course. You know, it's not like we do this every day at school.
I mean, well, okay. But in this respect, right, on the podcast,
of course.
you guys get to see our conversation. One thing I did want to ask, though, if you guys in the comments can, give us ideas, who should our next guest be?
Okay, so, hold up. I think I was talking about this with Gavin. And he, at first, I remember when we did this podcast at first, I'm not gonna lie, we had a lot of people, especially our friends, be fans of the podcast, commenting on the reels. You may have seen those.
Yeah.
However, one thing Gavin has really been hesitant about is in interviewing other students.
Yeah.
And I do think, it's
not a bad idea though.
Let us know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think, because we do have people lined up.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, we have this friend. I'm not gonna spoil his name out, but he's been asking since day one.
Exactly. I mean, we could just have him talk about like his experience and like stuff.
He's a good guy. He could give us some Wendy's after.
Sure. You can put it that way.
Yeah.
Definitely would be good. But you guys give us ideas in the comments. I mean, obviously we have academic, maybe teachers. You never know.
Oh yeah, teachers for sure.
Teachers talk. We're open to ideas.
Miss Roy.
Yeah,
she's a white woman. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. It's all right. We're open to all teachers. We don't discriminate, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, definitely to get it.
We can do your math teacher, the Ghanaian guy. He's like, Mr. Kojo. Yeah, Mr. Kojo. We could do that.
Okay, that works. Yeah, we'll have to find different ideas, but
I feel like the only way to really tap in and really kind of just see that it's, it's really been broken through, and prime examples, if we really experience it and you ask about it, right? I feel like that was kind of my breakthrough, right? As an Asian male, seeing and interviewing his dad, was kind of a great way to like, this is firsthand account. I know this guy.
Yeah,
I'm talking to him right now.
Yeah,
and he's making a great living.
Yeah, and
it goes to show like how much like it's living proof. You know what I mean? So you kind of need that, like testimonials of that really, if you really are invested in something, that it really works.
Yeah, definitely. So
yeah,
be sure to catch those episodes, guys. We'll have more guest episodes soon. We'll have more overall episodes soon. But hope you guys enjoyed this conversation.
Yep.
Yeah, it was good talking with you, Winston. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that. Share this with a friend who you think would like it. And Stemming the Gap podcast. Signing off. We gotta stop. We gotta stop doing that ending, bro. The whoosh.
That's a habit. I'm sorry.
What the heck is that? We did it you did it first episode. I just went along with it.